off this gin. I'm melodic with the smoke in the air, and the smell is hypnotic with a strawberry swish blunt with a whole lot of chronic in a pocket with a wallet with a whole lot of nada. I be stressed, but it got me in the ethereal mode with a serious soul in a cereal bowl. Like I'm searching for the sunflower, I'ma go on the road, but keep my mind open, infinite like the Konami code. Hip hop is my soul. Hope you looking when he's rapping, b-boy spinning to the beat like Mugen when he's scrapping. I'm jugging and I'm lapping on my way to Shangri-La, but some live, some die in the way of the samurai. Hear my battle cry, I might stay late and keep my fresh on the sideways 8. Yeah, I might make babes. All I need is some risotto and a cosplay chick that was born in Kyoto. Why? But that's a no-no if I ain't got that protection B. I keep my sword sheath. I don't need no BM stressing me. I wonder if there's a message, G, when I hear these new rappers. I ain't hating you rappers, but I prefer the boom bappers. It's the truth rappers, it's the war of the words. And I'm standing on top the castle representing the third. I guess you ain't heard. I'm following my destiny, following the God of fools, father to the death of me. A cross on my chest and resolve in my heart. Ain't shit you can do to bring a stop to this march, bring a stop to this art. You must be JK, and I grab the mic and get loud like an AK spray, and then I stay laying this heat over beats. I got the resolve of a beast, so girl, put your knees over these shoulders right here. They holding up the world already. Mujushin style stabbers got your girl all sweaty. Ah, you mad, bro? My bad, I'm in my zone. Miyamoto Musashi with the microphone. The best squad in the city is watching my back. I might hit you with a two-piece like Mataza the Zap. I'm just talking that crap. I'm a peaceful warrior. And my flow Mega Man, I'll defeat and absorb you while I'm hungover off gin and soda. I'm a fucking hero, dog, man. I beat Genova. Word to Jehovah, right hand on the rhyme. The way I'm rapping these lines, so you can examine my mind. Take a step inside, don't be afraid. I'll let the beat lead me while I lead the way. And I seen today, as I read the sermon, that all I can tell you's only death is certain. But the way of the samurai is found in death. You might hear a lot of deep shit, but mine sounds the best. Yes, yeah. This one, baby. KV Anime on the beat. Hood Hemingway. Hot damn, hot damn, hot damn, yeah, 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 hot damn. Hot damn, hot damn, hot damn, yeah, 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 yeah. Hot damn, it's hot out here, but I'm sipping on some Pinot. Yeah, you probably heard of me somewhere, maybe Sumino. Yeah, I love Hina, not as much as Ray Hino. Studied under greats, yeah, boy, I feel like Gino. She horny like she kinda, hey. Bitch got tits like Sonic, hey. Catch me in that box like a motherfucking solid state. Golden week forever, crying every day a holiday. Catch me up on top and post it up, sipping ramen, they like, sake bottomless, slizzy on the Nautilus. My bitch is 2D, but she looking like a model, bitch. I'm nerving on the castle like I'm Tetsuo Economist. Spit it with that weave shit, who the hell thought of this? Mix it with the G-Talk, feel like Cowboy Bebop. I Nico knees, fuck around and hit a C-Walk. Don't know how to correct, boy, I'm walking on the treetops. Big chicken on mail, man, R.I.P. the 3-bar. Bobbing and weaving, bobbing and weaving. Everywhere I go, they like, boy, you got them painting there. That weave, y'all feel like Keenan, but they calling me the guy for a whole nother reason. Bobbing and weaving, Bobbing and weaving, everywhere I go, they like, boy, you got them thinking that weave, y'all. I feel like eating, but they calling me the guy for a whole nother reason.
Yeah, bobbing, I weave like a boss. Except I got sauce. Haters just mad cause they lost. Like an HD, that's lossless. Love a go high, that's topless. I don't talk shit, I just make hits. But ironically, that's the same bitch. Nigga get a whole lot of hate lately. Just cut 'em off like an ex, baby. I rap crazy, that's weave talk like me, Hulk. Cut a nigga down. AG, man, that's the fucking town. Get money, no time to fuck around. Blow that shit on Dojins. Only Chinese always going. That's what go-eyes always screaming for my essence. They be paying it, ooh. Get paid for a show, then stack them Dojins to the ceiling. Who better than this empire when they bump me in your region too? Been making this fire like I'm Zuko, clout been overdue. Buffing girls been getting wet like Brutal since I first came through. It's unfair, but I don't care. These show girls throw they underwear. Her stockings, I'm about to tear. She riding like my dick the fair. Came in like a fucking boss, left without a fucking loss. Guilty gear, I troll like boss. Bob and weave, but I still floss.
make a stand, just me and you. We said we had to make it right. We can start tonight. My faith is all I have and hold on. When no one's gonna tell me that I'm wrong. I'm wrong. We will make it out somehow. Just me and you. We said we had to make it right. We can start tonight. My faith is all I have and hold on. When no one's gonna tell me that I'm wrong. This is all we have. 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 This is all we
What up, man? Listen, home, by popular demand, Pnoid's now selling merch. Man, look here, all right? We got 3 designs. We got the Pnoid Gorilla regular avatar. We have the Red Dead Redemption. And on top of that, man, listen, we got motherfucking Angry Gorilla, all right? We got t-shirts. We have onesies for your baby. Take your baby and turn it into a baby gorilla. On top of that, we got pillows. Come cuddle up with the gorilla. And on top of that, we got cell phones and mugs. Cop you some merch right now.
All right, Tom Pease, we are live.
Man, what up, and welcome to motherfucking Pnoid Live. How the fuck y'all doing today, man? I'm doing what I do. Like, I'm doing what I'm doing. But anyway, man, look here, yo. We really don't have any type of show planned whatsoever tonight. This is gonna be bullshitting and enjoying ourselves a little bit. It's been a rough motherfucking weekend, you know what I mean? It's been a rough week as far as things are concerned. You know what I mean? But right now, I'm here with my bottom bitch, my partner, my muse, the only YouTuber with dazzle fucking knee pads. Accelerate. What up, my nigga?
Dude, I was telling you before the show, I felt like shit for like the last 2 weeks, and I thought it was because of this extended summer, thanks to global warming, fucking ruining my sinuses. I got to the doctor today. It turns out that I had a huge sinus infection. He gave me a shot and some antibiotics. Now I feel fucking amazing, dude. I feel 100.
Yeah, man, my internet's being retarded.
Really? My OBS is being retarded. I think it's playing you through my head, my fucking speakers. Well, let me just adjust.
I don't know. You keep like
Let me
freezing up.
just adjust my microphone and shit. Oh no, that's your internet. It's not me.
Okay, well I figured as much. My internet's garbage, right? But yeah, fucking like yo. So I was standing here today, and like, I was yesterday. I was waiting on my check to come, right? And I got my motherfucking check in my bank account, and my account was still negative, right? And I'm standing here because like I usually run like goddamn credits and shit or whatever the case might be, right? And so I look, and my paycheck was like $150, right? Because these worthless, good for nothing, fucking millennial cocksuckers in the goddamn office refuse to do their fucking jobs, right? Like yo, these worthless, good for nothing piece of shit motherfuckers, like legit. Because like I did like like bullshit work last week. You know what I'm saying? Like shit where like you'd have to enter it as an office worker. Like it wasn't just like, like I did shit and then it fucking like did shit. You know what I mean? Like there wasn't really what was going on. It was more along the lines like it wasn't like actually like actual loads. It was like I was like moving empties around and grabbing boxes and shit, right? Yeah, 150. Yeah, it was fucking garbage, right? I was fucking pissed, right? So like, you know what I mean? So I was standing here and I was motherfucking grinding and whatnot. And or I'm standing here and I'm in fucking Virginia and my account's still in the goddamn negative. I'm like, the fuck is this fucking nonsense? I call into work. They're like, we won't know what's going on until tomorrow when fucking we can look and see what's up. So I look, right? Yeah, dude, expect to make that. I expect to make double that in a day. Like that's my mentality, right? Like usually my checks are like 1,500, you know what I mean, $2,000. Right. So I stand here and, you know, I mean, I fucking finally get my shit yesterday. Like I finally get like the pay stub yesterday. I'm able to see it. Or like at the end of the day yesterday, I'm looking. And man, listen, yo, these motherfuckers did not put any of the shit in that I was supposed to be put in. And on top of that, like I took Thursday and Friday off last week because fucking what the hell was going on? I forget what the fucking situation was. Oh yeah, I had a death in the family, whatever the fucking case was, right? So I just stayed home.
I'm only laughing about that because you told me about that last weekend, and you're like, "Oh no, dude!" Like, it was like the dude was kind of a cocksucker anyway. It was like some cousin or some shit that you didn't care about, but you were still expected to show up. A week later, you're like, "Why? Why'd I have to miss last week?" Oh yeah, I went to that fucking funeral for that cocksucker that I just happened to be related to.
Right? Yeah, you know, I mean, like I wasn't even related to the dude. Like real shit. Like it wasn't even my relative. It was like an in-law who like my kid gave a shit about. You know, what I mean? That's kind of the situation. Right. So like anyway, right? So I took like 2 vacation days. You know what I mean? And here's the bits: like when you take vacation days, where I'm at, like you put them in the computer on like your phone or whatever the case might be on their website, and then like they have to approve them. And they didn't fucking approve them and shit, right? So like now, not only am I missing my vacation days, but like the Wednesday that I did work before that, you know, I mean, I was just running empties into the goddamn rail yard and shit. So I fucking sent them a list of all the empties I grabbed that I took into the fucking rail yard. Well, these assholes didn't enter any of those in at all, right? So like fucking, I didn't get paid for any of those either. And then when I was down in North Carolina, like fucking, I drove the whole way down to North Carolina, dropped off a load, went to pick one up. The load wasn't ready. So I ran back fucking empty and I didn't get paid for that shit neither. Right. So I only got paid for one load going down to North Carolina. And when I got my paycheck, it was like $500, like was like the whole check, like before taxes and all that shit. And then taxes and child support came out and I got 150 goddamn dollars and shit. Like, yo, fuck millennials, dude. Like real shit. Like, man, how are you gonna run a business legit and put people who have no idea what the fuck they're doing in goddamn charge?
Yeah, so this is another thing, man. Like you have them all in like they're in HR or payroll or whatever. Man, that's other people's fucking money, dude. You got to be on top of that shit. Like my work, if they see just a discrepancy, like I don't have a time card, I'm salaried, but when I was, and it's still like this for everybody else that has time cards, if your shit is just like slightly weird looking to them, they send you an email, your manager an email, and they send it to you the next day. Right. So at the end of the pay period, if you don't get paid right, it's 99.9% of the time your own fault.
Well, like well, it's not just that. Like, here's the thing. Like, what they do is they have like these full dudes in the motherfucking office and shit, right? And like none of these guys are over 30, right? There's like a boss, and I mean an underboss, and then 2 like underlings who run the night shift, right? And the thing is, did you know whose responsibility it is to enter the pay shit and all that nonsense? You know whose job it is?
Probably like the fucking newest person that got hired.
No, all of them.
Oh, great. they all fucked up.
Like, because like none of them, like, that way, like if somebody doesn't do something, like the other one's supposed to do it, you know what I mean? And eventually, like it gets down to the point they're like, oh, well, fucking somebody else will take care of it, you know what I mean? And like fucking they have no idea what the fuck they're doing, you know what I mean? Legit, like, none of these guys were ever and I don't know why, like I just click your name, dude, like fucking whatever. I just fucking tag some shit. Like, what up, by the way, my brother, right? So I was standing here and
I just want to pause you real quick. Anna Vlad, if you want to argue something, feel free to join the waiting room. We can make an argument happen. Trust me.
Yeah, we don't really care, right? Anyway, yeah, they're sitting there and like, yo, fucking like the thing is they put these kids to fucking charge of dudes who are full grown men. Like, for instance, like there's all the individuals who drive truck now, for the most part, all right, are just divorced Gen Xers and like fucking older millennials, which we were having an argument about what a millennial is as far as age range is concerned, because it's contentious. Like there's 4 or 5 different years where they say it starts, right?
Yeah,
And
because
no one has any idea.
Technically, both of us, right? Like I'm 35. I think you just turned 36, right?
Mm-hmm.
Technically, I think we're supposed to be millennials, but we're on the very end of that batch of people. Like we probably have more in relation to Gen X, right? We were the Beavis and Butthead generation.
Yeah, like we were the original MTV generation. Like we came up and it was like Nirvana and fucking all this shit. It was like we came up in the 90s. So like we weren't really millennials because like we were full grown adults by the time fucking 9/11 happened and shit.
Yeah,
like,
we
I remember I
remember
was working, you know what I mean?
Like imagine a show like I used to watch In Living Color. Imagine a show like In Living Color in the exact form that it used to be now. Right, like all the white characters would just be cucked beyond oblivion, cucked into oblivion. It would be terrible. There's no way they could remake that show. It wasn't even a great sketch comedy show, but at least like the idea was there. We grew up in a generation where we had what was called common humanity politics, right? We really were trying to be a colorblind society, and I know that like people aren't actually colorblind, but the effort was there. And then we just gave up.
Right.
Sometime in the 2000s, we just threw that away and we're just like, fuck it, race matters. And white people suck. Fuck white people.
Yo, green bastard, I'm gonna disagree with you, son. Like, yo, I make some bomb ass fucking memes. My memes are dank as fuck. And you know what I mean? Like, yo, like, gotta get with the cheese, nigga. Gotta get with the cheese. But that's not the point. Yeah, like fucking so I'm not like me and you are kind of like men without a generation, like as far as our age range are concerned. And we run around, there's a lot of us on the internet who are about me and your age in this community anyway. And so being 35, 36 years old, I think TFM's in the same age range as we are, right? Like fucking there's a bunch of us out here. Like there's a lot of us out here who are this age range, and we really don't have like an actual fucking like I don't know, man. Like we're not millennials, right? Because like yo, we're not on that skinny jeans, fucking Yeezy wearing, fucking cutting ourselves.
Yeah, the problem is like, dude, yeah, I used to be part of like the underground music scene, and like when I was 26, I saw those kids coming in. Right, like I saw what was coming in the wave after me, and I mean I knew then it wasn't pretty. We used to make fun of them, call them the screamo kids. Now they're this.
Yeah. Like I came up.
Now
and
they
like,
write for Vox.
Like yeah, and me and you both like. But you stood here and you said fucking before we were on stream and you said fucking like you think everybody who remembers the world before 9/11.
Yeah, if you actually
considered a millennial.
Yeah, if you actually experienced the world before 9/11, you're a lot different than the people that were just like little kids during 9/11. Or like you were working when the recession happened instead of in school.
Yeah, I was born in the Reagan era. Right? Like, that's my mentality, you know what I mean? Like I was born in the fucking Reagan era and shit. So like I came up, it was crack cocaine, and fucking the steel mills were all closing down. Like it was hard times coming up and shit. It was a whole different animal than it is today. Like fucking like today's tough, but like it's nowhere near like we didn't have a police state. Could you imagine walking in like all you younger individuals? I don't know how many fucking younger people are in here, but like if shout it out in the chat. You know what I'm saying? If you're under 30, you know what I mean? Fucking, and I want to ask y'all some questions because legit, I kind of want to know, like, do you remember a time? See, Ryan's from 85. This one, I thought, yo, fucking all of us are kind of the same age to be hanging out. Like, Green Bastard, 83. I was born in 83 too. This is what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, it's
right.
Like,
yeah.
Is it really that surprising that a bunch of people that were born during the same era kind of found themselves ideologically in the same place?
I don't know. It's kind of weird. Oh my God, another 88, 83. Victor, Ortiz is my age. It's kind of strange though to see how like we all kind of bundled up together. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, except for like Roman Volition, who's our 18-year-old friend, right? Like Pocket Ninja. Yeah. He's Pocket Ninja 18. 92. Anyway, dude, speaking of the chat, we haven't even addressed him yet. We haven't, and it's all right. We're gonna address them now. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're gonna mix it up. You know what I'm saying? Oh, by the way, that Adonis Paul is probably Golf City Giga Nigga pretending, because it's not the real Adonis Paul.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, right. So, okay. Byron King, Existential Nightmare, and Radical Rick. Right. I have a question for you. Blue Collar Canuck 71. Oh, my brother. Yeah, the older motherfucker, they like me too. I have a question for y'all. Do y'all remember a time, right? When you could walk into a convenience store and there weren't cameras there, right? Because like, yo, this is on some legit shit, bro. I know Excel probably remembers a time when you could walk into a convenience store and
I never even fucking thought about cameras when I was a kid.
Yo, because they didn't exist.
Yeah, no, whenever I was 16, I worked at this comic book shop, and there was actually a problem with stealing, and the owner finally got a camera system, and it was shit. It was a really fucking shitty camera system, right? You had a tape that could run, and you had to replace it every so often, right? Because you can only rewrite the magnetic tape so many times before it's just trash. They had a tape that could store like 32 hours of video, and then it restarted.
Yeah. But I remember when the cameras went in, right? Like, yeah, see,
I was 16 when that happened.
Well, Anu Vlad, you're just kind of autistic. That's kind of the deal, right? There were mirrors, but no cameras, right? Like, yo, I remember when there was no cameras nowhere. Like, they just didn't exist. Like, I remember the announcement when they started putting cameras on the school bus, right? And like, it was a huge thing. Like, it was a massive fucking thing.
Dude, that's right. That's right. They put one that was like right in the fucking middle above the driver in the school bus. Yeah. No, I remember that. That was a thing.
Remember, it was like a mirrored box that had a little red light on it and shit.
And the red light was scary as fuck.
Yeah, yo, it was a huge fucking thing and shit, right?
You didn't know as a kid, especially like what that fucking red light meant. You just walk by it and you're like, oh shit, the red light got me. I don't know what that means, but I'm probably fucked.
Yo,
I'm like fucking 11. I'm gonna go to juvie, right? That was the big threat.
Yeah, like, dude, it was a whole different animal back then. Like, I remember all this shit when I was a kid. Like, it was a whole different world. It was a complete, like, yo, you could literally commit a crime and no one would ever know. Like, unless somebody was there and like they had to rely on their word. And if all you had to do was like, yo, break that certain individual to a certain point, and like, yo, they weren't gonna talk. And that was the world that like we came up in. It was a whole different place.
It was, I remember getting my gas before I paid for it.
Yo, I remember gassing. And you remember gassing goes?
Yeah, I remember people did it, which is why you can't do what I used to. I was a good boy. I didn't do that shit, nor would I. Like, even back then, I kind of realized like there's stealing. Like, I don't want to be a thief. I'm not going to do that.
I was broke back then. You know, like, yo, motherfucker, it was hard times. You know, like I had places to go, things to do. I had to go to work. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, sometimes.
Well, wait, no, this is how old school it is. The first car I ever owned was a diesel. It was a hand me down from my dad. It was an old Mercedes diesel, and I've told you about that. I drove a Mercedes for most of my life, but that was back when diesel was way cheaper than regular gasoline. It was like 99 cents a gallon when gasoline was like $1.79, and I was like, fuck you guys.
Well, Victor Ram, we still smoking bars around here. Like, like bars around here, you're still smoking shit. But that's only because I'm in the Appalachians. You know what I mean?
Oh, dude, I grew up with the smoking section, man. My fucking mom was always like, we were just poor enough to be Golden Corral was fine dining, and we'd go to the smoking section. Or the dog races, right? The dog races were like that too. They had a smoking and a non-smoking area.
Yeah, I remember
A Mercedes or a Benz. Yeah, they were all called Mercedes Benz. That's
yeah, we should call
a weird question.
We should call the stream member berries, right?
I remember. You remember?
Remember?
Yeah. No, I had a giant ass fucking 350D 350D. That's the extended cab Mercedes diesel.
Yeah, my buddy had one of those, and like fucking all right. So what we used to do is like when we wanted the system in the car and we didn't have any money, you just like go around on like trash day and pick up like fucking speakers out of the rich neighborhoods and shit, right? You know what I mean? Because like people would like throw away their stereo systems or whatever, and then you take the fucking like the speakers out of them, and like you'd fucking like either A, build a box, or B, you would like cut a hole in like the fucking not frame, but like the fucking like with the back thing where the window was at, and you had the like flat spot where the speakers went into, right? And you'd cut a motherfucking hole in that bitch, and then you drop that paper speaker in there and wire it up into fucking your amp or whatever the case might be. And my buddy Rich, he stood here and he fucking did that shit, and then he fucking like put drywall screws in to fucking like to hold the goddamn speaker in, and he ended up poking holes in his fucking gas tank and shit.
Yes. That reminds me of the motherfuckers I grew up with, like, you know, like right when I hit like, you know, 19, 20. I had some friends that joined these car clubs, and they all fucking worked at Walmart and shit. They didn't have any real money. And so they bought these piece of shit fucking Ricers or these piece of shit broken down Mustangs. And then they would spend all their fucking paycheck trying to soup it up and do all the work themselves. And half of them like fucking blew their own car up.
Yo,
I legit know a person that spent like $14,000 on aftermarket products to put into a piece of shit Mustang that he renovated, and he fucking burned out the engine the first time he put it on a you know, like a street racing strip and tried to race somebody.
I remember my boy, he took one of them old school Fox body Mustangs, like from like back in like the 80s and shit. And he took one of those and he put this fucking like 5.8 liter fucking 351 Windsor that ran on fucking jet fuel. And he put it into his fucking Fox body. And the first time he fired it up, it twisted the car in half. It just straight bent the whole frame. Yo, it was the funniest shit I ever saw in my life.
I gotta address this. Anu Vlad said the Mercedes statement is a Tonka joke. Well, don't blame me for not understanding the bad joke.
Yeah, man. Like it was a whole different animal back then. Like, man, the car culture, just like I remember my first car, it was a 72 Chevy Caprice, and it had no taillights and no headlights, and it said fucking when in hot pursuit, shift to overdrive over top of the goddamn fucking steering wheel and shit, right? It was like an old cop car, like, you know, like remember the Blues Brothers joint?
Yeah.
He was like got cop tires, cop motor, cop suspension. That was this car. And like we put dare stickers on the front and back, like a dare to keep kids off drug stickers on it. To keep the cops from pulling us over. Right?
I know it's a good strat. It's just like NRA stickers are an okay deterrent. If you put them on your windows of your house, just even if you don't own a gun, just stick NRA stickers like at the edge of your house. It'll make a few people think twice.
Yeah,
especially with all the propaganda about people that are especially with all the propaganda you hear about people that support the NRA, man. Like, you see those stickers and they're like, that motherfucker wants to shoot me if I break in. Not gonna bother. Not gonna bother.
He said buckshot. He said birdshot, buckshot, birdshot. All Jamaican, baby. Yeah. Right. Y'all don't get that. That was a Dave Chappelle reference. But like, yeah, fucking Charlie Williams said my first stereo was an 8-track tape deck. You know, I never had an 8-track in any of the cars I ever owned. And I owned a lot of old cars. Yo, Victor Rand's over here. Yo, you're a man after my own heart. He said 86 Cut Supreme. Oh, God, do I, yo, bro? Excel could motherfucking stand here and tell you, like, yo, dude, I was a hood motherfucker growing up, so like, I always loved Pontiacs and Oldsmobiles. I had this unnatural love affair with these fucking cars. I used to buy them for like $350, and then just like run them till they died and
Well,
leave them on
yeah,
the side of
no,
the road.
because
to
that
go
was
get a new one.
that was the price back then for just a car that ran. Now it's like 700, but
No, car that runs now is like about fucking 14, right? Depending on where you are. Oh, fucking, you had a 3800 V6 at 3.8 liter, dude. That fucking motor was bulletproof. That was the greatest motor GM ever made. It was smooth, torquey, plenty of power. It ran like a fucking top. You never had to worry about shit. It was amazing. Loved those fucking cars. They were so good. Yeah, he said, "Po ass nigga thought it was a Cadillac." Yeah, I remember the Pontiac joint. He said, I had an '83 Chevy Celebrity station wagon. Had so much. It was a blue car, and it had so much rust in it. One time I got pulled over, and the cop wrote the fucking color down as red. yo, that was a garbage car. Yo, it was legit. That car was so garbage. Like, people used to just walk by and throw shit in it. You know what I mean? That they were done with, because like they're like, "Fuck this car. This shit's trash." Oh man. Oh dude, I miss that fucking I miss those days. You could get cars for, I remember I bought what was it? It was a 84 Chrysler Laser with a 2.8 liter fucking turbocharged twin turbo V6. You had to put aluminum behind the motherfucking block to stop it from vapor locking and shit. But like, when I got it, it was stripped out. Like, it had no seats, it had nothing in it. You know what I'm saying? It was like no carpet, no fucking headliner, like tubbed out in the back. This motherfucker, like, yo, they had this bitch stripped out for fucking racing and shit. And I put some seats in it and whatnot, and it didn't have any air conditioning. But man, this car hauled donkey. Like, this car moved. I bought this car, I think, for like 500. I want to say it was like $500 I paid for this car, and it was the most expensive car I'd ever bought at that point. And like, legit, like, I went down to Baltimore with a buddy of mine. They had a 1977 fucking I think it was a Pontiac Grand Prix. Like, it was a big boat motherfucking joint. Like, it wasn't like the fucking ones like we're used to, like the smaller ones. This motherfucker was like this huge, like, square body joint. We went down to Baltimore, and like, we went looking for the beach, and we found like something that resembled water, right? And then we came back up, and we were coming back up, this cop tries to pull me over, and I just hit the fucking gas and gunned it, and I lost him in this construction. And I get up home, and like, I left out of Baltimore, and I think it was 45 minutes before I was motherfucking the whole way back in fucking in Mechanicsburg, fucking like coming off of 83 and going on to the fucking 581 and shit. Like, man, listen, I was hauling donkey. I miss those fucking days, dude. They don't, this is what I'm saying. Yo, y'all motherfuckers, y'all don't understand what you're missing. Imagine $500 you have a car fast enough to outrun the cops in. Yo, could you imagine that today? Yo.
No, but you were talking about that, and I was just thinking about, like, man, there is actually one vehicle that I have very fond memories of. It's my band's old tour van, dude. Are you looking at the stream?
Yo, the shaggin' wagon.
It's the Ford EcoStar full-sized van, right? Mm-hmm. This is what it looked like when we bought it. We keep going through. There's me, and I don't even know who that guy is. That guy was in a band called The Incredible Heat Machine. No, not sure there. This is when we were like working on the seats. Like, we put we actually put one of the seats on the swindle, which was kind of cool.
Yeah, I'll be right back. I gotta pee. I'll be right back.
Yeah. There we go. There's the finished product, dude. We just drove around in this van. We painted the whole thing green, gave it fucking shark teeth. We literally caused, I don't even know how many accidents we caused. I know it's 2, but it might be more because I wasn't always in the vehicle. One of them, it was kind of funny. So I'm in the passenger side. I'm just looking to my right. There's a couple girls staring at the van, looking at what's painted on there. And then like we're in the left turn lane at a stoplight and they're trying to go straight. We just keep moving along and both the girls are staring at us. We just watch them ram right into the fucking back end of the Ford Focus that was in front of them. Completely fucking destroyed their vehicle and totaled their car, all because we were driving this van around town. Are you looking at it? Are you seeing what we did to this thing?
Yo, there's something wrong with you.
We decked it out, dude. That's pretty bad. We were a fucking ska band, like a ska punk band, and we were touring around. This is what we had. This is what we had to work with.
Yeah, you look, he was hauling around a broke ass A-team and shit.
Dude, it was like, it was all fucked. It was, dude, we went the extra mile on some of that shit too. Like the places you could easily break into and the windows, like you put a bar on them, and we had like fucking like double padlocks, like bolt locks or whatever, like, you know, the big ass fucking padlocks. So that it was hard to get in, because at any given time there was about like $5,000 of music equipment in the backseat. Because we were a ska band, so like even the trombone player alone had $1,000 trombone.
Yo, man, I miss the old days. I really do. Like, it used to be a whole different animal than what it is today. You know what I'm saying? Like just a whole different thing than what it is today. You said PA Hillbillies Cops episode, right? Maybe you can hire them, the D team. Yo, this nigga said the D team. Yo, that is crazy. Oh man.
By the way, we've had a Callan waiting for a while. Do you want to go? Yeah, there we go.
I was just dragging him in, man. Dragging him in.
What's going on?
Yo, what up, man? Yo, yeah, we're getting kind of nostalgic right now, just because like we're bitching about the new generation of fucking people that suck ass.
You're not the only one.
Well, I mean, we could talk about the news, but that's why my original title for the stream was I have no idea what's going on. You guys want to ... And then in the comments, I said,
Joe Biden,
this is not a clever title.
Yo, I heard, I don't know. I heard lots of stuff, but I just don't care. Like, it's just, can we wait until we have like a vote for some of these Democrats by chance? Like, before we give these motherfuckers any more words.
I want to see the Democrat purge. That's what I want to see.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
And then what pisses me off is I went shopping today, right? And these young millennials were sitting on their ass, and I was like, what the fuck is this shit? And the manager's standing there, just didn't care. They're just sitting on their ass. I'm like, wow, that must be nice.
Oh, man.
I just wanted to go Ike Turner on their ass because I was so pissed off. What the fuck?
Yo, I got fired from my first trucking job because I walked into a fucking like I went to deliver to a Walmart store, right? Yeah. And like these fucking kids, like I went in and first off, they have a female manager, right? Like almost all Walmarts have a female manager, right? Because like, my diversity.
Not all of them. That's like 90%.
Yeah, my diversity, right? Anyway, right? So like I go in and like they have a female manager and she's the only one who's allowed to use the electric pallet jack. Which when when I was younger, all right, let me tell you like this, okay? There was no like laws and rules about using equipment in warehouses. Like, like the only thing like you'd really have to be certified on would be like a cherry picker. And that's if you went up on it, like if it went up with you in the carriage and shit. And so like if you had like a pallet jack or you had like a fucking like a forklift, like there'd be certifications, but the company would give you a bullshit certification. It takes like 10 minutes and you were good to go, right? There was nothing like major about it. It wasn't like something like they held over your head.
They just walked up and was like, all right, this is the gas button. This is how you raise the forklift. This is how you tilt the forklift. This is how you lower the forklift. Any questions? All right, you're certified. No, I worked at a warehouse too. It was the same way.
Yeah, right. So anyway, right. So fucking like, so the only person who's allowed to use this electric fucking pallet jack, not forklift, pallet jack, not a riding pallet jack, not like a fucking like a double load pallet jack, a single pallet jack. All right, just like a John you go in that they've had since the 19, like they've had these pallet jacks like since the 19 fucking 20s, maybe 1910s. They go way back. I've seen these motherfuckers in like old photos from like the fucking like Ford when they were building Model Ts and shit. Right?
I know they have. I seen like one of them from the 1950s, and they were pretty weird.
No, they look the same. It was the same basic setup, you know what I mean? Like fucking like even like I've ran like old ones from the 1950s and 40s and shit. Like I've done all that stuff. But anyway, that's not the fucking point. So like yeah, so I go in and like this bitch is unloading shit and like she can't do it, so I start doing it, right? Because I'm like, you fucking people are goddamn retarded. And I take it out and I set it down and I go back inside and I fucking grab the next one. And I go back in and I grab another one, right? And I'm like 4 pallets ahead of the fucking people. And there's like 5 guys fucking helping unload this truck, like just taking the shit and putting it away. It's all refrigerated. And like I'm setting these things down and they're on Shep skids, which is like the big blue wooden skids, right? I don't know if y'all know anything about fucking warehousing. I'm hoping some of y'all might know this shit.
Do
right?
warehousing one.
Yeah, I do.
Right.
It's all too familiar. In fact, it's a nightmare I don't want to relive. I'm starting to get a little bit triggered here. So
I have a
one.
Can I get some jazz hands just to calm me down?
Point of privilege, comrades. Right. Anyway, right. So I have a Shep Wood fucking tattoo, believe it or not. Right. From like I was riding by and like fucking I ran into like a fucking Shep Wood skid, like it skinned me as I went by and shit, and one of the splinters went into my arm, and fucking the wood ended up like the blue paint got stuck inside of my skin, and it's been there since like 1999. That was my first tattoo. Right. But anyway, so like I'm setting these down and these fucking kids are picking these things up and taking them out. And the one kid looks at me and he goes, it's turned the wrong way. I said, yeah, just turn it. He goes, this is going to take a while. I don't know if I can do this. And
wow.
I look at the manager, right? And I go, I swear to God, if I was in charge of this company, I would fire every last one of you assholes. And I just walked the fuck off, right? And I got fired because of that, right? I hate these worthless, good for nothing fucking millennials. Like they are the most useless, worthless, spoiled generation I have ever seen in my entire fucking life.
Yeah, tell me that, like, what I don't get is like they'll hire 5 of those worthless motherfuckers before they hire you or me, Pino.
Oh well, yeah, because like, the reason for that is because of the fact that they don't want people that aren't replaceable, right? Like
they're safe, they're complacent, and useless.
We've had this conversation before on this.
Yeah, that was last. That was actually.
What the hell?
Yeah, that was last week's conversation. Full Metal Joker, where you been?
They don't want you to be irreplaceable. You know what I'm saying? Like, they want you to be able to, like, that way they can go, hey, look, either you do the job or we'll fire you. You know what I mean? That's what they want to be able to do. Yeah. And you know, I mean, that's what they do. They go, either you do what we tell you to do or we will fire you. It's that fucking simple. And I hate it, and I think it's fucking miserable. I can't stand them. I actually, I had another place I went to, and I got in trouble for this too. Because I used to work at Walmart in like the pet department, like when I was like probably like 21, some shit like that. And like fucking, so I walked in, you know, I made a joke and I was like, man, you know, coming back here to Walmart as a truck driver and seeing all y'all looking at me and shit, it's like a slave going back to the plantation. You know what I'm saying? yo, and like I got a phone call from my boss. He goes, "You okay, Tom?" I was like, "Yeah, why?" He's like, "Yeah, I just got a report." Yo, shut up. Leave me alone.
So Brandon Massera is talking about how he's about to be 31 and he's a felon, but they'd rather hire a 21-year-old retard with Asperger's than him. Man, one thing, yeah, I know it's true, but one thing that's part of the problem with all of this is that because of all these anti-discrimination laws and whatnot, companies aren't allowed to like just deep probe into somebody, right? Like they're not even allowed to really give you competency tests. Right, if you could just, if a company said, look, if you can pass this test, we don't give a shit what degree you have. That's illegal. They can't do that.
Are they? Wait. They'll hire a retard with Asperger's.
Yes.
Point me in their direction. I'm a retard with Asperger's. Like, I go to a job and they
Well,
tell me.
wait, hold on. They'll hire you over a felon.
Yeah, and that's they should.
Where I live.
They will.
You need to be a felon in order for us to work with you.
Well,
you have a better chance of being a felon.
Well, maybe you live near a lot of felons.
Well, do you live in Florida? Is that the situation?
No, I live in South Carolina. It's like we're
close enough. Close enough.
all the decent jobs are in the city area, and
most
of the felons live in the cities.
Well, as a felon, as a felon, like I'm gonna tell you like this, I was charged with felonies. I was never convicted. Like I had all charges dismissed of all the felonies I've ever fucking been charged with, right? But like legit, I got a speeding ticket one time. Yeah, good job, buddy. Good job. I got a bunch of parking tickets. And I'll tell you a good story about getting arrested over parking tickets in a minute. But so like as like being charged with a felony, not even like being a felon, like not being in jail, not being on parole, none of this shit, because I got charged and arrested. I was never arrested either. That's the other bitch about this. Because I got charged with the felony, they wouldn't let me have a fucking job. There was a bunch of places that said, we can't hire you because you were charged with the felon. I was like, they were dropped. You legally can't do this. They said, well, we can't hire you. And the reason is, here's why. It's because of insurance purposes. Because insurance companies will not insure a felon. That's why. That's the reason why. And that's why they'll stand. Nigga, I swear to God, Golf City. Look, all right, now you're getting to the point where you goddamn spamming again, nigga. Like, see, and this is the motherfucking problem with you, right? So what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to motherfucking put your ass in goddamn timeout again and motherfucking stand here and fucking, light your ass the fuck up. You need to stop being a dick. You know what I'm saying? Like real shit.
The rest of the people that enjoy the rinse no stand do not enjoy your actions.
Add moderator. Here we go. All right. Yeah. Welcome to the motherfucking chat, Darth MGTOW, the last X-Wing. And I'm saying nice to see you. Nice to have you over here. Right. But like, yeah, man, there's a lot of shit that, people don't tell you that's all about motherfucking insurance and shit. That's really what the situation is. It is what it is. Like you can't fight City Hall and you can't fight the way things are. You know what I mean? Like I get tired of it because like, man, look, there's a lot of felons out. Like I have a buddy of mine. He's a felon. He got caught. He burned a church down when he was like fucking 16. Well, he didn't burn a church down. He knew somebody who burned a church down and he didn't tell the police. So they charged him with conspiracy, right? When he was 16 years old. The guy's now, he's older now. He's 37. He's a year older than me. And he stands here and he can never have a fucking regular job because he has a fucking felony in his record. Real shit. You know what I mean? Like, and that's the worst shit ever. And here's a bitch. He has $800,000 in restitution he has to pay back. Right. And he has a daughter, you know what I'm saying? Like, he runs his own business. He does construction and shit, but his fucking shoulders are blown out. His fucking knees are blown out. He's all beat up and shit. And he'll never be able to stand here and fucking actually like fucking like pay the shit back. Like he's paying it off at like fucking $50 a month or some nonsense like that. And by the time he's done paying this shit off, his great grandkids will still have a goddamn fucking bill. You know what I mean? And he'll never get off parole. He'll die on parole because he'll never pay the fine off. Yeah, this is the reality of shit. You know what I mean? Like this is what's going like, and so forever he's on parole for this felony, so it's never going to get off of his record, even though he did this shit more than 20 years ago. He served his fucking time, you know what I mean? And he's making payments on his fucking restitution for what the fuck he did wrong. And I mean, that also means that this motherfucker can never go into like an apartment complex and get an apartment. He can't fucking like stand here and like he's not allowed to work in schools. He's not allowed to coach fucking his kids fucking t-ball or baseball teams or nothing. And I mean, like, all because of something he did when he was 16 fucking years old.
That is messed up.
Yo, man, you know what I mean? Welcome to the American system. Like, and when people are standing here talking about like a Chinese credit system and bitching about shit, I'm standing here going, well, you know, fucking, there's no real difference in, you know, I mean, America. Like, there's really not. You know what I mean?
It's the same.
Yeah, but we just have a whole bunch of different systems that add up to what they're doing with one system. You know what I mean? Like, that's really what it is. Like, we just
Like
have
the
a
only
bunch of different shit. You know what I
Nope.
mean?
The only thing
I have
difference
no
with the
clue what you're
Chinese,
talking about because I got up for the last 3 minutes and missed the entire conversation.
but the
Yeah.
difference, the
Did it-
differences from a Chinese system is the credit system is they treat the poor like shit, and then they treat the middle class like they're gods.
Yeah, they do the same thing here, right? Like, yo, they still like, what do you think happened? Like, all right, so like, yo, they have what's known as fucking these bullshit like fucking like nonsense fines for poor people, right? It was known as like poor taxes in a lot of these fucking poor neighborhoods. Like, for instance, if you stand here and like your lawnmower breaks, right? Because like, you know, you have like a piece of property or whatever the case might be, or like fucking you're renting a house and you end up fucking having your grass get overgrown. Like,
Yeah.
you can stand here and they'll fine you for that shit, right? And once they fine you for that shit and you don't have the money to pay it, like let's say you're on Social Security, whatever the case might be, they can put a lien against your house as a poor person, right? And take your fucking house away from you for $150 goddamn fine. Or continually, like, I know people who have ended up paying $4,000 for a $50 fucking parking ticket. That was originally would have been like 50 cents if, you know what I mean, you just paid for the fucking parking in the first place. Right? Like, yo, like this shit happens all the time in America, but like people just don't know about it. They don't fucking stand here and
Yeah,
talk about
well,
shit.
no, it's because none of those kind of people that are that poor can get the kind of legal representation it would require to rebut the fine in the constitutional defense that's written fucking in there, which is cruel and unusual punishment.
Or they won't want to help out the poor people because they don't have to supply them.
How about this one? How
Yeah,
about this one? Like,
I would say that's one thing I agree on the left on.
Story. Yeah, I wanted to tell you my parking ticket story. So when I was younger, I was poor. You know what I'm saying? Like fucking like I was grinding, making it come up. You know what I mean? Like fucking, you know, you got to stand here, you know, make some money and shit, whatever the case might be, right? You know, fucking I was working my way up, and you know what I mean, like fucking I had kids. You know what I mean? I had fucking child support and I had bills and all the shit that was going on. I kept up with my shit and did what I had to do. But I ended up catching these parking tickets and shit. And fucking like I was like, fucking, I ain't paying you motherfucking. Like, I don't pay for parking, bitch. Right. So I was at my mom's house and I was fucking hanging out. Like I had my own place, but I was down there. I was like fucking working, doing something. My mom asked me for some help working on her house. And so I was down there for like the day. And I got a phone call from my wife at home. She goes, there's a constable here looking for you. Now, the rest of y'all got fucking, yo, DB, be nice to Frank. Yo, stop being mean to Frank. I love Frank. Right? Yo, wait, did Adonis start fucking chilling out too? Is that situation?
That's not Adonis, Paul.
Okay. Right. But anyway, right. So I got a phone call from my wife. She says there's a constable here. Now, a constable here is we don't have sheriffs. Like, I don't understand what your sheriff thing is, right? Fucking as far as fucking like how the hell y'all operate with sheriffs. I don't know what sheriffs really are. Like where I'm from, like we have police. Like we don't have sheriffs. Like the sheriffs, all they do is transport prisoners and like they'll come for like a sheriff's sale of your house. You know what I mean? Like that's all sheriffs do. Now they have constables, which are basically like government sanctioned bounty hunters. So I had this constable, he comes to my door and he's looking for me for a fine. Now he gets a fee for coming and collecting me and fucking taking me to the district justice office or putting me in the county prison, either way, right? And they're elected officials. Like constables are elected in your local boroughs, right? Whatever the fucking might be, your borough or your fucking township, right?
Yeah.
So this fucking constable's like, fucking, sir, you're under arrest. And I was like, nigga, I don't feel under arrest right now. Like, what the fuck are you talking about, right? And he's like, fucking, you know, you owe fines and I'm fucking, you need to turn yourself into me so I can fucking turn you in. And I was like, yeah, that's not going to happen. I'll go down there and take care of that later, right? So I went down there to take care of it later. And it was probably like 4 or 5 hours, whatever. And I went down there and I fucking, you know, I'll try to walk in. And as I'm walking in, this cocksucker hops out from behind the door inside of the district justice office, grabs a hold of me and goes, "Gotcha," puts handcuffs on me and walks me to the window. Right? And tries to collect his goddamn fee. You know what I'm saying? On my
so
fucking
stupid.
ass. Over a $50 parking ticket.
That guy sounds
Boy,
like a
that is
retard.
messed up.
Yo, what? Yo, this is how we treat the poor. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, over $50. You know what I mean? Instead of going, yo, is this person poor? You know what I mean? Is this person broke? Do they have children? You know what I mean? Do they have a family to support? Are they working? Are they trying to fucking make a living? Why are we bothering them right now? Instead of doing that, they go, no, they have to be held to the same standard that everybody else is held to, which is bullshit, by the way. Like, that's the dumbest shit ever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, with that, I know what you're talking about. Like, my dad's S10, you know them two-door S10 trucks that pretty much run forever, finally crapped out. So he had to get a new truck. So he had to do payments and stuff, and he strictly went, I can pay on these days per month. Don't take money out of the bank because then we'll overdraft and then you're not going to be able to get anything. And they went, okay, sure. And lo and behold, he called and he goes, don't take money out. I'll pay you next week. They take it that the week that they told him not to take it out, and he had to sit here, hide his truck, go to a friend of ours' place, hide his truck in their property. They finally find it, take it, and we had to somehow scrape together like 3,000 and some change, go all the way to the other end of our state to get it because they was about to sell it, auction it off, the truck that he just bought. And it had to be in cash. You couldn't like show up with your debit card or show up with a credit card. You had to have 3,000 cash.
Well, here's another part of this, right? Like, yo, they'll put people like, and they've done stories on this. You ever have a chance, check them out on YouTube. They'll charge people with like these parking ticket fines or whatever the case might be. And if they fail to pay, they'll put them on fucking probation. But like the probation isn't county probation, right? It's not like it's not like a state sanctioned probation. What it is they hand you off to a private company that charges you fees and fines for fucking watching you until you pay your motherfucking shit.
Jeez.
Oh yeah, yep, yeah.
Like, yo,
no,
like,
actually, no, I knew all about that. I used to have to drive my drummer to fucking Sedalia, Missouri, which was an hour and a half away. You need to have a car, so I would take him there to go see his probation officer, which was actually the same person that worked for the bail bonds company. It was like some private dude, and he'd pay him money and take a piss test. He failed for PCP a couple times, which I know was ridiculous because I know he did a lot of drugs, but not PCP. That was not one of them. And the dude actually didn't care. He was just like, just pay me my money.
Yeah. Like, yo, they're like, man, yeah, like that's just like child support. Here's another one that's like a fucking huge one. Like at one point in my city, they had a quarter of the fucking city's population locked up for fucking child support. Right. And what they do is they'll throw you in the county and then you'll wait to go over to what's known as the work release center, right? And they have this work release center where they charge you $45 a day to stay there, right? And while you're working, right, as a fucking, and you're incarcerated, so that means like basically you're probably going to be working at like a car wash or like a fucking McDonald's or something along these type of lines. So you're going to be making basically minimum wage. And you're being charged $45 a day to stay there. And then on top of that, you have to pay for your fucking shit. And then on top of that, whatever's left, you have to be able to buy food to support, feed yourself while you're there because they don't feed you.
So you work 10 hours a day and you're in the negative.
Yeah.
that's what you just said.
Yo, welcome to the social credit system in America. You know what I mean? Like, yo, like people don't understand like really where it's at here and where it's come down to. Like people think that like China is really bad.
Look, like Tom, listen, government is not the problem. Government's not the problem. We just have the wrong people running government. If we just got the right people in, we'd figure this out.
Oh, I'm sure. You know what I mean? Like, yo, I'm fucking absolutely sure that's the truth. The problem is we have not found the right person yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
200 years, we haven't figured it out, you know?
for real.
Like that's really where it's at.
I mean, the only reason we haven't had fucking universal health care in America that works and doesn't drive the country that's already bankrupt even more bankrupt is because we didn't elect Bernie Sanders or Elizabeth Warren.
Oh,
That's it.
yeah, that's the problem. You know what I mean? That's the issue right there. And as I said, like, yo, and here's the thing. Like back in the day, you Adonis Paul's fucking put an end, right? Fucking like back in the day, they used to stand here and like you could hide from these motherfuckers. You know what I mean? And like, yo, they'd let you walk off on nonsense. But like today, the bitches is that they stand here and they'll use drones and shit in the fucking skies to find your ass. You know what I mean? And like they have like these fucking license plate readers and shit in the goddamn highways, and they'll fucking grab you and ding you as you go down the highway and tell the cops where you fucking are. Like it's fucking nonsense. Legit. Yeah, look at you. You keep fucking banging out Adonis. Like you didn't even chill anything. This
I'm
time.
99.9% sure it's Gulf City Giga Nigga, and you can't fucking impersonate the real AP. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna allow that. Like, if it was the real AP and he's listening, he would just join our fucking Discord and be like, "What the fuck are you doing, Excel?" Right? But I know it's not, so that's why that's not happening.
Yeah. You know what I mean? It's a whole different animal. You know what I mean? Like the whole thing is like a whole different thing than what it used to be. You know what I mean? That's really where I'm at. Like, yo, fuck millennials. Like y'all niggas don't understand like how much easier it used to be to motherfucking like survive, and like you're still fucking garbage. Like, yo, you're still goddamn garbage today. It's fucking terrible. Like I don't understand like how y'all motherfuckers ended up I really do. Like you're all raised by your fucking moms and you're all taught you were special.
Yeah, so I've been eyeing this book called The Madness of Crowds by Douglas Murray. He's one of those those people in Europe that's going around just, and like he's actually pretty even keel about it. He was like, we want to do good and like help as many people as possible, but at the same time, like I know the kind of people that are fleeing these countries because he spent years fucking living in those Muslim countries that are war torn, and saying that like, yo, these people are gonna bring their culture with them, and it's not going to be compatible with the West. But in his new book, like, yeah, he's talking about how, but this culture, like, we're not going to be able to keep this up, and God, I'm actually getting for a loss of words. Like, I want to read the book really bad because he's talking about the symptom of the problem, and it really is these millennials. But the end point is that they have it too fucking easy. That's why they act the way they do, right? They have it too easy and they are fucking bored.
Yeah. But I mean, that is some legit shit. Like I always said, you know what I mean? Like nothing's going to change until the TV turns off. You know what I mean? Like nothing in this country will ever change until the television turns off.
Well, yeah. Like the actual, the apocalypse everybody predicts, I talk about, it's going to be, well, whenever you can't look at your cell phone and be connected to the entire world because you can't afford it anymore, that's whenever people are going to get pissed and actually revolt.
Yeah, nothing will ever happen as long as there's fucking entertainment. As long as there's something to watch. You know, and the Romans knew this too. And remember bread and circuses, motherfuckers. You know what I mean? Like, yo, like that's really where it is. Like, as long as there's entertainment, as long as there's shit to do, as long as there's shit to like fucking occupy your mind other than dealing with this nonsense, you know what I mean? Like real shit. Then, you know what I mean? Fucking like, yo, we're gonna continue down this path of fucking like bullshit and getting into fucking garbage all the goddamn times. You know what I mean? Real shit.
It's,
you know?
it's like this when it comes to kids these days, and heck, generation before me, it's like this kind of weird Stockholm thing where, like, even I can remember my parents as a kid going, you're acting up, you're gonna stay inside. No, I want to go outside and play. No, you're gonna stay inside. Now, if you want to make a kid upset, you tell them, You need to go outside.
That's incredibly true. So that was actually true for me when I was a kid, but I was an exception, man. Like I was a nerd, and now like being a nerd is mainstream somehow.
Oh, I was a nerd, but I was a nerd that liked to do. Well, I live out in the woods, so I was a nerd, but I was a nerd that liked to go out and run around in the woods barefoot.
Yeah. So I lived in the suburbs, so going outside meant go play with your friends. But I was also very introverted as a kid. So if you sent me to my room, like I had all the video game systems that I cared about. I would just play fucking. That's probably what I wanted to do anyway. I'm gonna be real honest.
Yeah, nah. See, like if I wanted to play video games, like I'd have to like I'd call a cab and then fucking like give them a fake name and a fake address, and then I'd have to like hop a cab, like go like fucking 2 miles out of the way of where I needed to go and jump out and run away, and then fucking finally get to the goddamn mall, and then I'd have to find somebody who had money, and then I had to roll that person, and then I had to fucking like get some quarters,
Whoa.
and then I'd have to go to the arcade. Like that was how we got to play.
Yeah, I used to ride my bike to the arcade, even though I wasn't supposed to. It was like an hour bike ride, but I didn't give a shit. If it was Saturday and I wanted to go to the arcade, I would just be like, "Hey mom, I'm going to Mike's house," and there was like 5 mics, so it was really easy for me to say that. I would just ride my bike to the arcade and go play arcade games.
Lucky for me, yeah. It was just play games on the computer, which I didn't have internet till like middle school. And I did have my own computer at around like 7 or 8, but that was because me as a smart ass little kid going, "Grandpa, my dad got a computer. Can I get a computer?" My grandpa looked at me, gave me 3 broken computers and a box of parts, and say, "If you want one, build one, you little shit."
Oh yeah, see, I don't know, man. Like we didn't have that, you know what I mean? Like fucking like nobody really knew anything about computers when I was coming up. Like that was a whole computer was like a whole new thing. Like it was just computers didn't exist when I was
Dude, no, that shit blew my mind. You know, I said about my friend Mike. Well, I actually had a friend Mike that his mom was like a huge fucking computer nerd before there was such thing as computer nerds. So she their family bought they had all the fucking IBM PCs because they were the best back then, and the bulletin board systems. Right, this was like pre-AOL chats, and the fucking most fun thing ever for me, in 5th grade, watching Beavis and Butthead, was to get on these fucking internet chats and just talk shit. Like that's where trolling started. That's where it began.
Well, I remember, what did we have? My uncle, he was a programmer for AMP, and he has been since the 90s. But I'd go over to grandma's house, and I'll be honest with you, my mom's side of the family, me and my sister are the only grandkids, but there's 4 boys, you know what I mean? And they're all worthless. None of them have any kids, and most of them still would be living at home if it wasn't for the fact that I threw 2 of them out of my grandmother's house, you know what I mean? But my uncle, he lived there until God, he was probably in his fucking 30s. He lived with my fucking grandma and shit, and he sat there and he had a fucking computer, and he'd sit there all goddamn day and do programming, and he had the original chess game and shit. But the AOL chat room thing, I remember that because my boys had it. One of my buddies, he had a fucking AOL joint. And that's when we started getting into cars. I was probably 15, 16 years old. So we're talking 97, 98. Because we had bought that Chevy Caprice. I was 15 when I bought that Caprice. And we fucking I drove that bitch up to goddamn State College to meet some bitches off of AOL chat and shit.
Yeah. So Doc, tell me you weren't getting on bulletin boards at back in 1994 and just randomly talking shit as a 5th grader, because I don't know, it was fun. It was crazy. This was a mind-blowing idea that you were typing and talking to people across the fucking country. Long distance cost money. You got taught that.
as a fifth grader, man, listen, I'm trying to sit here and think about when I was in fifth fucking grade, right? Like, what were we doing when I was in fifth grade? Man, fifth grade, fuck. I remember I was in shit. Nah, dude, there was no computers when I was in fifth grade. Like, I think we might have had a Nintendo with Duck Hunt. I think that was it. Like,
No,
that was
yeah, I
all
had to
we
get
had.
it. I had to get it at my friend's house. My parents didn't finally get a computer until I was in 8th grade. And it was a Pentium 2, I remember that, and I remember it could run StarCraft. And I would play StarCraft on, God, what was it? Net Zero all day long.
I remember we had, see, I remember we had like a 28.8 modem in an IBM Aptiva back in the fucking day. And fucking God, like, I think the only game I ever played was Leisure Suit Larry.
That's when like they had that crazy fucking DRM. So like to play Leisure Suit Larry, you had to answer these quizzes. You had to have the fucking manual and shit.
Oh, I remember that. Like every few times you go and play like Warcraft, it tells you what's the letter, page this, line such and such.
That was very early DRM. So if you lost the manual, you were basically just fucked. Or if you remembered it enough, there was usually only like 20 options to begin with, so you could just guess all the options. I remember a game called Roger Rabbit that we had. It was the same way, and you just had to guess for fucking ever, and then the game started.
I remember I had a buddy of mine. He was rich, right? Like, you know, like we thought you were rich if you had a house that wasn't attached to your next door neighbors, right? like this nigga was rich. You know what I'm saying?
Parents own your own house? God damn.
Like, right? Like, you don't rent?
What do they do for a living? Well, he's an insurance salesman. Oh my God, I want to be an insurance salesman when I grow up.
Like this guy, like, yo, his dad was the mayor and shit, right? Like, you know, of my township, of my borough where I lived at. And he stood here and he had like the Nintendo with the Game Genie and shit, with the fucking Mike Tyson's Punch Out and all that shit, and fucking like, yo, and Ninja Turtles. And I'm trying to think here, Double Dragon. And like, yo, we just stay up all motherfucking night sitting there playing video games at his house and shit. But man, that was super rare. Like, for the most part, it was just like taking our bikes and like going and stealing cigarettes and running off. You know what I mean? Like, and then we'd go up to like fucking we'd go up to the pool hall.
If only your parents knew that you would have grown up more well adjusted if they would have just bought you that overpriced video game console and let you have it available. It would have taken up way too much of your time for you to ever get in trouble.
Yeah, and then like we'd go up to the fucking pool hall and we'd smoke our stolen cigarettes and fucking hang out with the old heads and shit and listen to them talk about eating buttholes and shit. Like, fucking, like, that's, you know what I mean? That's what we did. And we'd fucking like, we'd hang out at like the fucking, there was like this little pool hall underneath of this fucking farmer's market, which was like in this like hood shopping center. And you had to like know the password to get the fuck in and shit. And like we were fucking grandfathered in because like fucking we were like real tight with the local fucking guy who was selling a whole lot of fucking heavy white. And we just go down there and we fucking just hang out and shoot pool and shit for like fucking 7, 8, 10 hours a day. And we'd smoke so many cigarettes we'd end up with nicotine poisoning by the end of the fucking day and shit. Yo, like it was a whole different, it was like a whole different world back then, man. Legit.
Well,
like I remember,
maybe not just a whole different world, just where you live at. Because one of the reasons why I couldn't act up much is where I live. It's a small town where everyone knows everybody, and right down the street, before my great grandma passed away, was my great grandma and my great aunt, and they're right there, and they knew all the cops. So if I act up, the cops would know.
Well, my mom knew. My mom, she was a cleaning lady. Like, fucking, she ended up starting her own business doing janitorial work, and so she got the contract to clean the local police station shit. So she knew all the fucking cops too, but that kind of didn't help You know what I'm saying? Like when you have, see, here's the thing. When a motherfucker, like when you try to punish somebody like me, like for instance, like my son, like when he got suspended at school the first time, like he enjoyed it, right? And like when he got locked up, he enjoyed it even more. And so when you call the cops on a motherfucker like me, you know, and like, are you staying here and you bring the police after somebody like me? I'm like, come on, pussy. Like, let's see how fucking far you want to take this. So that doesn't really work with us. You know, I mean, just my people in general. We don't get into that type of shit. Like, you can't just threaten us with a good time. You know, it just doesn't work. But yeah, fucking. So like, I remember like Sunday mornings, you'd wake up and you go over to you go to the bakery and you get some donuts and a carton of chocolate milk. And then you'd ride your bike up to the motherfucking farmer's market and get some fresh corn for fucking dinner and shit. And like, it was just a whole different fucking world. Like the whole thing was just a whole different animal completely. Like everything. Like, man, it was a whole shit. You know what I mean? Fucking like, the mall was a different thing too. Like the mall was a place to sell weed and fuck bitches. Like, that was it. Like I got kicked out of the mall for fucking a bitch in a water fountain one time.
Hey, what?
Yeah, I'm more with the people talking about the mall always had an arcade. That's why I was there. In fact, the mall that used to be fucking super hot when I was in 7th grade, it had 2 arcades and a movie theater. You know what it is now?
What?
A Walmart. They tore the whole fucking thing down and put it in a Walmart.
Yo, man, we haven't built a new mall since like 1996 or 97.
Well, so like what you have now is these outdoor kind of shopping center districts, which I get it. It makes sense. The issue is that we've consolidated like certain businesses. Like, right, you don't need that many specialty fucking clothes stores or and whatnot. You can just go to one store and get all the lines.
Well, no, the problem is, well, we haven't even really done that. The problem is that like fucking the people who were driving the vast majority of our fucking consumer spending were baby boomers, and baby boomers are no longer spending because they're all coming towards retirement. Like, so like when we were coming up, they were at top earning potential. You know what I'm saying? Like the 90s and the early 2000s.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that's true as well.
You know what I mean? So like, it's just, and that's why you're having this retail apocalypse. Like, Amazon's killing businesses. Like, no, it's really not. You know what I mean? Like, Amazon is not killing
I would say
anything.
it's a little bit of that, a little bit of consolidation. Like it's what you said, and then the consolidation of distribution. Right, because there were places in the mall that you could go, like you could go to 2 places and buy basically the same fucking thing. And that's gone.
Well, yeah, and I mean that, and like the mall just, I don't know. I feel like for me, like I hated going to the mall when I got to be an adult because like I'm no longer a kid anymore, so it's not fun.
Yeah, dude, the last time I went to a fucking actually this isn't true. Like I've been there a few times, but only to go to a GameStop that just happened to have the game in stock, and I found that out online. But I remember before that, like being like 25, 26, walking around, seeing girls that were probably in high school, looking at them because they dress all slutty and shit, and being like, "That's a little hot," and being like, "I feel guilty now. I do not belong here," and I never went back.
Man, look, only time I go to the mall is if I got to go to Bass Pro Shop. Right, that's the only time I go to the mall.
Well, see, Bass Pro Shop is not it's a standalone place where I live.
Yeah, see, it's part of the mall here, right? But like, it's like on the side of the mall. It's like JCPenney used to be, or like
that's fine.
Sears. Like,
you know what? You know what? I'm gonna give you a pass. If you can get into the department store without having to walk into the general mall area, it's okay. Like you get a free pass.
Oh, and I saw.
But if you're trying to go to fucking Spencer's or Hot Topic or any of that other shit, no, you went to the mall, and you were a creepy old dude.
Yo, fucking yeah, but like, I went to go see Logan too, which was you had to go in the mall, right, to go to fucking the movie theater there, right? I went to go see Logan at the mall. That was
I was taking a new movie theater.
Yo, they're gone. All the other movie theaters are fucking gone now.
Oh, really? Oh yeah. So apparently we're blessed here in Kansas City, Missouri. we have one of the highest density movie theaters per capita, because I mean there's basically nothing else to do here. But we have some sweet movie theaters that are just standalone, and they have those recliner seats.
Yeah, see, like we had a place called Hoyt's here. It was AMC Commons, Hoyt's, and then you had the ones that were in the malls, right? Which is like fucking 5 malls here, right? There's fucking Colonial Park, Harrisburg, Camp Hill, Capital City, and I think there's one more somewhere. I forget where the fuck it's at. But like all these places, like all the movie theaters, like Harrisburg has an actual movie theater. Colonial Park, which is the white mall, it has the Dollar movie theater. Then the 2 white malls over on the other side, which is Camp Hill and Capital City, they both have movie theaters. And then there was Hoyt's and AMC Common, which were standalone movie theaters, but they both died.
Wait. Are they still dollar theaters? When we talked about the dollar theaters, is it really $1? Because ours, the one near us, changed to a $2 theater. And the only reason it's open is it got co-opted by the historical organization.
Well, no, it's because like a $2 movie theaters in the mall, or the $1 or $2 movie theaters in the fucking mall itself, right? And it used to be a good movie theater. Like I actually went, and I forget what the fuck I saw, but I actually paid my buddy $10, who was working the front counter, to like keep the doors locked so I could fuck this bitch in the goddamn movie theater and shit. Right? You know what I mean? But fucking yeah. But now like AMC was around when I was a pup, right? Like fucking, but like it went in after I was born, because when I was born, I remember because like my grandma lived probably like a quarter mile like away from it, but there was nothing there at that point. It was all just farmland. And then they built up and they put in like a fucking big ass whatchamacallit, fucking like 2 shopping centers on each side of the street. They got like Home Depot and fucking, you know, Dick's Sporting Goods and like a grocery store and like fucking Target and fucking Kohl's and shit or whatever. And I think all that shit's closing down now anyway. And then fucking there was a Joan in the movie theater, which that used to be a decent movie theater. Then it turned into a $2 movie theater over the course of the years. Then we had Hoyt's. Hoyt's went in when I was an adult. Like that went in when I was probably like 18, 19. And it closed down now, like fucking, because nobody was using it. Like nobody went to go see movies there. So like that's gone. Now the only ones left are the Jones in the fucking whatchamacallits. You know what I mean? In the malls. Like those are the only movie theaters left around here.
That's weird. It's the opposite here. There's plenty of movie theaters, but none of them, 0, are in malls. But yeah, there is always one near a mall, but they are not in the mall.
Well, they used to have the $2 movie theater outside of the mall, right? And then like it was the hood movie theater. Like it was like the hood movie theater. It was like a place where like everybody, like all the kids would show up in the middle of summertime, and like the parents would show up like with all the kids, and they'd have winter coats on in the middle of summer, and they'd be like packed down with sodas and popcorn and fucking pork chops and shit, right? Because like everybody would be sneaking fucking shit into the motherfucking movie theater all the time, so they didn't have to buy food, right? And it's right across the street from the county prison.
Yeah, I always did that. I still do that. In fact, dude, so this is something that's kind of, I didn't know it was fucking weird in 9th grade, but I used to go to the movies by myself all the time. But there's a reason. So I had a couple friends that were a couple years older than me that worked at this movie theater. And it was it's the one at the casinos, and it's actually still open even though it loses money like a motherfucker. But I had friends there, and my mom always, like, she would always go to the casinos, and I'd be like, take me with you. I'd have $5 on me. It was like, don't worry, I'm gonna get into a movie and I'll spend the rest on playing video games in the arcade that was across from the movie theater. And but yeah, like I didn't know it was fucking weird until I hit 9th grade. And I show up and I see some other people in my school, and they're like, what are you doing? I'm like, yeah, I'm about to go see this movie. I don't even remember what fucking movie it was, but I do remember exactly the 2 girls that were talking to, Ashley and Ashley. And they were like, you're here by yourself? And I was like, yeah. What? Why? I didn't even know it was fucking weird. Maybe if I would have explained to them, I was like, no, I I have a friend that fucking works at the theater. I'm not paying anything. I just want to go see this movie instead of staying home and dicking off because my mom was already going to go fucking gamble all her money away at the casino. But it wasn't until like after that day, like I learned that the reason those girls thought I was fucking weird after the fact is that I went to see a movie by myself. And I continued to do it also all throughout high school. They kept working there. In fact, one of them worked there until he was about 30 years old. He was the manager.
Yo,
like I was 28 and still getting into movies for free.
That's fucking
from the same guy that made me get into movies for free when I was 16.
Yo, did you by chance like see all the shit I was tagged in on Twitter today?
No, not at all.
Yo, I went in last night. You know what I'm saying? Like fucking, I went hard last night at this dude. Right? Like, yo, it's some of the finest work I've ever done.
Dude, I'll go take a look at it, but that reminds me, like I was thinking because Count Dankula went after Sophane. He had no response to it. I'm thinking, let's make a new segment. What the fuck is Sophane talking about? And it's just gonna be about Sophane on Twitter.
Yo, that's not
like,
a bad
I
idea.
think we should do it. Like at the top of, so we start at 8 o'clock. Like at 9 o'clock, no matter what, we like I'll make like a nice little graphic. It was like, I mean, it'll be something to make fun of Sophane. It's like, what did Sophane just say? Right? Like, because the latest one would be political correctness isn't real.
Yo, fucking. So I had somebody quoting what I said last night on fucking on a live stream, right? Like, cause he was listening to me, motherfucker. Like he went and apparently listened to it afterwards or whatever, right? Yo, so I stood here and fucking like I went after Sparky's Tech Corner, fucking a little fucking faggot, whatever, right? And,
yeah, I was on there for a little bit. I joined for the gay shit, and then when I got on there, nobody was dudes weren't fucking each other, so I left.
Yeah, I went hard, right? I said, yo, Sparky fucks Totina's pizza rolls.
That's blasphemous. That's a terrible thing to do, man. Totina's pizza
I
rolls
said-
are delicious. Why would you fuck them?
Yo, I said, I hate.
You should eat those and enjoy it.
Yo, I said, I hate his voice. I hate his face. I hate his shoes. I hate his shoelaces. Yo, I told him, I said, it'd be really nice if you jumped in the Pacific and got eaten by a shark and we never heard from you again. Yo, I said, Mike, yo, why can't you do what Sarah Hatcherby Sanders did and do us all a fucking favor? I said, shut up, you fucking lollipop guild looking nigga. Yo, I said, go towards the headlights on the road. Go towards them. He said, yo, your mom threw herself down a flight of steps. Your dad was a carny person. You look like the Grinch that stole Christmas. Yo.
And so did you pay him $140 an hour to say those things to him?
No, I did not.
Apparently that's his rate.
Yo, I said, he looks like Oxford the Grouch, but dirtier. Yo, oh man.
Pnoid just broke himself. By the way, what's up, Mr. Misanthropic? How you doing, man?
What up, Mr. Misanthropic? Golden Bonnie, what up, man? How the fuck you doing?
Also,
I went hard.
We're probably about done here. It's an hour and a half again. And you do have a load tonight. Plus,
I got work tonight.
I want to get off because I need to piss and eat.
I feel you. Yo, man. Yo, I want to thank everybody for coming out. Thank you, motherfucking goddamn fucking what's his face for coming to fuck on. Brian King. Make sure y'all go motherfucking check out his goddamn channel, dude. He's fucking getting it done over there. And Count on the Cloud. Make sure, you know what I'm saying, y'all motherfuckers check out what he does on Twitter and make sure y'all check out what he does in his motherfucking Discord server. You know what I mean? I think he does art and stuff. He doodles. You know what I mean?
Some of these people, they do stuff. We're friends with them. We don't actually pay attention to them ourselves, but we're gonna chill them out anyway. Like, trust us, we're not assholes. We love them. We just We just suck at being real friends with other people on YouTube.
Yo, man, I got my own life I'm living right now. All right, I ain't got time for motherfuckers doodles. I can't do it. Like I love y'all motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? I do, but like, you know, y'all niggas is doodling. You know what I mean? You ain't out here creating Rembrandts and shit.
Yeah,
I'll be
dude.
real with you.
On that note, I want to bring up another point, which is a lot of people don't fucking know this. Is me and you, Tom P. Like, look, we got a lot of mutual respect for. I love you, man. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and be like we ain't friends or whatever. But like some shit will be going on for 4 days or whatever that you're involved in, and then I'll get a message about you being like, "What's up with Tom Pease?" And I'll be like, "How the fuck would I know? I haven't talked to him in 4 days. Like I have no clue." Like it's not like that. It's not like me and Tom P just sit around and like connive about shit. In fact, tonight, like I tried to message him like, "What are we gonna talk about tonight?" It was like 1 o'clock or whatever. I didn't hear from you till like 7:45. And I was like, "Oh, we ain't talking about shit. I guess let's just go."
I was passed the fuck out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
I don't blame you, and I don't give a shit. I just think it's hilarious that there's still people that like tie us, like thinking we're like, I don't fucking know, flies on rice or some shit. No, it's not at all. We'll go weeks.
Yeah. Yo, Psycho, what up, nigga? Yo,
you'll be on everybody else's fucking stream on the planet before you talk to me, and I won't even know anything about it.
Yo, I'll be going on missions. You know what I'm saying? Legit. Like, yo, here's the thing. Like,
part of it is you probably keep it secret because you know I'll keep you in check when you start getting into that drama bullshit. It just doesn't help you.
Yeah, I know it doesn't, right? But like, here's the other half.
Excel's not gonna like this, man. I am
currently at war with the motherfucking skeptic community, and Exel has no idea.
Yeah, well, I mean, the skeptic community, they used to be people that were like trying to pretend that they're all rational and shit, and it turns out the only thing they want to be rational about is parodying all the arguments against God that I happen to agree with. But when it comes to any other issue, they just pull shit out their ass like fucking Doc's Holiday and, like I said, Sophane, which we should have a whole segment about Sophane Twitter. We should at least pick one thing that Sophane said on Twitter and just rip it apart every week.
Yeah, well, currently I'm at war with Sophane, Undoomed, I'm trying to think here. Suit Yourself.
Oh,
right?
Yeah, you told me about that one, which is you said some shit about a woman. If she would have just kept her fucking legs closed, she wouldn't be having any of these problems or something like that. And I was like, yeah, it sounds like Tom P. And they're like, what? They kicked you for that? Like that sounds like pretty normal Tom P. And then I tagged Atima and I was like, I'm pretty sure he said way worse to you, and you still go. And she tried to make a point being like, you shouldn't go all hard after people when they don't know you. You don't know they can handle it. And I was just like, that's not gonna happen. Like, you aren't going to tell Tom P to exercise situational constraint.
Yo,
hold on. Like, I'm not gonna bring up exactly. I'm not even gonna bring up exactly what it's like. But there was like one situation that I countered you on, and you're like, you're supposed to have my back, and I'm like, no, I'm not gonna do it on this one.
Yeah.
But at no point did I say I blame you for bringing this up. I just said, I'm not gonna have you like on this one. I disagree. I'm on the other side of the aisle.
Yo, I didn't even go that hard. Like, yo, that's the bitch about it. Like, yo, like all I did, like I said like 3 things to this bro. Right?
Wait. I have the best strategy ever for the situation. You go say, look, man, like Undoomed, Suit, I just, bring her back on, get me in a chat with her. I just want to set the record straight. I was drunk and I'm kind of an asshole on the internet. I try to keep up this appearance. No, hold on. Shut up, wait. And then once they agree, go as hard as you could have.
Oh, like, yo, dude, like legit. I stood here, like all I said was like, fucking, because like she was e-bagging for a car, right? Like somebody was giving away a free car, and I was like, "Yo," and like she was like, "Oh, I'm a single mom. I could use a car." And I was like, "Bitch, you wouldn't be a single mom if you would have kept your legs closed, right?" And then she started reading. She's like, "My kid has autism," and I was like, "Yo, man, fucking like your kids probably doesn't even have autism. You just want attention because you got Munchausen syndrome, right?" And then she's like, "How dare you stand here and say this to me?" Right. And I was like, "Yo, I'll say whatever the fuck I want." You know what I mean? I'm doom hopping. He's like, "I'll defend my friends." I'm like, "You do what you got to do, nigga." Right. Like, yo, yo, right. So fucking, I stood here and like fucking, I stood here and went hard in the paint, or I stood here and I was fucking hanging out, and like all of a sudden I started getting brigaded, and then she blocked me, and I was like, and they're like, "How dare you stand here and make fun of this kid with autism?" I was like, "I wasn't even talking about her water-headed kid. It's not my fault she fucked her brother." You know what I'm saying?
Well, then Sophie comes in and is like, "Didn't we all agree by now that this guy's an asshole?" And yet he comments on your Twitter, which is like the place that you were probably like you know like, well, you were, but well, kind of like you've never worked hard to spread your Twitter presence. That's just not a thing.
No.
Yeah, like
yo,
90% of the people that are watching that have watched you tonight, which like we're probably, I don't know, we'll say it'll be 200 viewers at the end. 10 of them have a Twitter. And like half that they actually check, and then half of them actually respond to shit. So like Twitter's just not a big place for you. Like I don't yeah, sure, poisoning the well, they I mean, I guess they have a bigger audience, but yeah, he always tries to talk shit on you. It's like you're just shouting to nobody, and I'm just like, what? Like, yeah, you kind of are, but it's not really nobody. Like a lot of people see it.
Yeah, a lot of people, yo, I'm just keeping up appearances. That's all I'm really doing. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
If I don't stand here and say retarded shit, people be like, "Hey, are you all right?" You know what I mean? Like that's kind of the situation.
Let's talk about it this week though. Like let's really make it a segment of something about what Sophie said on Twitter, and just make fun of him for it. And we'll try to make some cool graphics or whatever. He deserves it. I'm sorry. He just deserves it. He's such a fucking hypocrite.
Yo,
and then
wait,
we can go over to Doc's holiday next.
Yo, did I send you my shit? Did I send you the fucking memes I made of fucking Sophane?
No, you did not. So I will take those, dude, after you end this stream.
Yo, no, wait, you gotta at least put one of these up, because like, yo, fucking these things are goddamn awesome.
All right, we're gonna talk to the chat, because I said I'm gonna get food, but that can wait. Actually, I just have to piss, so you can just wait.
I feel you. I feel where you are. I'm saying, like, I want to show you, you know what I mean? Because like I've been, you know what I mean, fucking going hard in the paint and whatnot, like on my meme game. Like my meme game is vicious right now. Right? Come on, man. Where the fuck y'all at? God damn it. Yo, say words, nigga. Excel. What the fuck? Why? Yo, is this dead air? What's the situation here? Yo, Excel.
Yeah, what?
Why are you not saying things?
I told you I had to get up and piss.
Oh, I didn't hear you. I was busy looking at stuff.
Yeah, it turns out my bathroom is right next to my. I live in a 1-bedroom apartment because I'm a broke motherfucker. No, actually, the reality is if you're single because you avoided marriage, which I've talked to you about, the best thing you could do is just like live in a 1-bedroom apartment, man. Like, don't buy anything crazy. Don't get a house. You might need to move.
I feel where you are. Oh wait, hang on, wait here.
I've been bitching at my fucking little sister about that. She just totaled her car that I co-signed on.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, that was I talked to you about that a few weeks ago. She totaled a car that I co-signed on. And then she went ahead with her signing on a lease for a house. She makes a little bit less money than I do. She just really, really thinks it's a great idea to buy a house. She's like, I don't want to pay rent. And I was just like, you don't understand. Shit breaks down. I just call somebody and they fix it. You're gonna have to take care of that place.
Yo, put that fucking picture up on the screen real quick.
All right.
I sent it to you on Discord.
Yep, see it. Nice.
Yo, y'all gonna like this. This is fucking pimping as shit. Like, yo, yo.
Yeah, hold
Yo, man, I got a bunch of these. Yo, I made up some Twilight ones, some Underworld ones.
There he is, man. There he is.
You'll see how long it takes to go up on the screen.
He's part of the craft.
I was like, yo, he's an edgy boy. There we go. Yo, it matches because look at the like he got the spikes on the glasses with the fucking spiky collar and shit, the spiky choker.
All right, look, dude, we'll save this all for next week whenever we start our new segment that we're going to. Our first segment, not even new segment. It's really going to be our first. We'll talk about it. It's going to be super easy to do as well.
Yeah, hell yeah. Yo, man, yo, look here. Hang on a minute. Yo, I think it's important that we motherfucking chill out some shit real quick. You know what I mean? Because like, yo, fucking I got love for this motherfucker and like he always shows me love. So let me do this for him. You know what I mean? Real quick. Hang on here. Y'all need to go over to this motherfucking channel and hit sub and watch this motherfucking live streams and shit. Because I'll be over there usually like 3 or 4 days a week, whatever. You know, because like I'll be bored when I'm driving down the motherfucking road. Here, check this shit out here. Paste here. All right, Control V, enter. Control V, enter. Y'all go over there and you tell them Tom P sent you over. You know what I mean? All right, there we go. Anyway, I want to thank everybody for motherfucking be here tonight. It's appreciated. Yo, man, thank you, Excel, for running things. Yo, nigga, let's get the fuck up out of here, all right?